Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. There is an easy way to support us. Rate us in the apps where you're listening to this podcast, ideally with 5 stars, and leave a glowing review. This way more people would learn about the podcast and truth about the Russia's invasion of Ukraine. My name is Artem, and here is the news. 343 days left the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Ukrainian law enforcers conducted dozens of searches and announced suspicions of corruption to dozens of current and former officials and people connected to state enterprises, reports Interfax Ukraine. For example, the State Bureau of Investigations has notified of suspicion the recently dismissed Deputy Defense Minister of Ukraine Vyacheslav Shapovalov, who was in charge of logistical support of the armed forces of Ukraine. He is suspected of conducting agreements on the supply of food for the military at inflated prices and on the purchase of body armor, helmets, uniform and other things of poor quality for a total amount of more than 1 billion hryvnia. According to the bureau, the official not only was aware of the poor quality of products but also posed pressure on his subordinates to accept them at military warehouses. 17 searches were conducted at different addresses within the framework of the criminal proceeding. Large amounts of cash and other evidence were found. Suspicion was announced also to the ex-head of a department of the Ministry of Defense for embezzling more than 100 million hryvnias of public funds. According to the law enforcers, the former head of the Department of Public Procurement and Supply of Material Resources of the ministry purchased almost 3,000 bulletproof vests. However, according to several independent examinations, these products do not meet the requirements of Class 4 body armor and do not properly protect Ukrainian warriors. Minister of Defense of Ukraine Oleksiy Reznikov said that public control over the non-weapon purchases of the ministry will be returned. In particular, procurement of clothing, fuel, lubricants and food will be public. According to the minister, he has already given relevant instructions regarding food, to analyze prices and the process of their formation, to reduce the term of the contract with suppliers, to develop new approaches that will include mechanism of transparency and accountability, transition to menus to preserve food diversity, publication of prices, etc. According to the media sources, the State Bureau of Investigations of Ukraine has informed of suspicion of causing budget losses for almost 1.5 billion hryvnia in favor of one of the gas oligarchs to the former Minister of Energy and Coal, Igor Nasalek. The bureau claims that, guided by the order of the minister, subordinates entered into agreements with the businessmen that were obviously unprofitable for the state. The State Security Service of Ukraine conducted a number of searches as part of the investigation into the misappropriation of 40 billion hryvnia by the former management of Ukrainian oil companies with state capital Ukernafta and Ukrtatnafta. The searches were conducted at owners and top management of the financial and industrial group, which includes these companies, as well as at the addresses of the likely storage of oil products in different regions of Ukraine. A search was conducted at the home of known Ukrainian oligarch Igor Kolomoisky. Suspicions were announced in particular for tax evasion, creation of debts which led to a decrease in the value of companies' assets. The State Bureau of Investigations notified of suspicion of corruption head of the Kyiv tax office Oksana Dati. She is accused of helping to evade taxes, inflating gross expenses by some enterprises, conducting business activities without registering, and illegally obtaining VAT refunds. During the investigation and searches, law enforcers established that Dati has 3 apartments in Kyiv worth about $1 million, a house near Kyiv worth about $200,000, 2 cars worth about $150,000. The suspect owns expensive jewelry, expensive branded clothing, gold watches and other luxury items. The official's total unfounded assets are about $1.4 million. Another search was conducted at the home of former Interior Minister of Ukraine Arsen Avakov as part of the investigation of the causes for a crash of a helicopter in Brovary in January. The investigation took interest in the contracts for the purchase of Super Puma helicopters by the Interior Ministry when Avakov was its head. Avakov said that nothing of interest to the investigation was found. The President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, called it in his evening video address a fruitful day in confronting those who are trying to weaken Ukraine. He thanked law enforcement officials who have demonstrated the power of law and the power of the state yesterday. Zelensky also thanked the government of Ukraine for dismissing the leadership of the Customs Service of Ukraine. The president added that he sees from the reaction in society that people approve the actions of law enforcers. He separately stressed on the importance of the purity of processes within the Ministry of Defense. At least 2 people killed and 21 injured in the Russian missile attack at the residential district of Kramatorsk, Donetsk region, reports LBUA. The attack damaged 8 apartment buildings and destroyed one of them. According to the local police, the rescue operation continues. Bulgaria's parliament has declared the Holodomor famine of 1932-33 a genocide of the Ukrainian people and strongly condemned its organizers, reports Suspilne. According to the decision, on the 4th Saturday of November, the memory of the victims of the Holodomor famine in Ukraine will be commemorated. The president of Ukraine thanked the Bulgarian parliamentarians and said that this decision restores historical justice. If you like what we do and would like to tip us, you can now do so directly to our PayPal. Check out the link in the description to this episode for more details. And as usual, you can subscribe to our Patreon. In gratitude for your help, we will give you access to a series of exclusive episodes on wartime life in Ukraine. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.